1977, George Lucas formed a legacy.
The Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
Inspired by mythology, his saga has become a passion for many.
Feel the Force around you.
His legend has become our story.
It's true. All of it.
One of resistance.
We are the spark that'll light the fire that'll burn the First Order down.
Rebellion.
Rebellion is built on hope.
And redemption.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is Star Wars Reactions.
Remember, the Force will be with you, always.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Star Wars Reactions. We are here, and we are going to have an awesome time. This is our final show of 2022. Gotcha. No, we're not going anywhere. It's just our last show of the year, and we just wanted to have some fun, reminisce, and just give it kind of like a State of the Union type show. We let you know what's happened, what's going on, all that fun stuff. So let's not waste any time doing this. My name is Aaron Harris, and yes, I do have my voice back. It's amazing what some cough drops and some warm tea will do. So it's good to have my voice back. Joining me and my voice this week is the man who is good at taking up the reins when I can't talk, the David Motters. Brother, how's it going?
Oh, it is going. I'm ready to react. Excited to record this with you. And, I hope people really enjoyed that chat with Jay Krebs. She's incredible, and like we said there, we just ask the questions and just let the guest roll. And I'll tell you, her history and background with Star Wars is awesome. So hopefully everybody enjoyed that, and hopefully enjoyed this episode. But as always, buddy, I'm always thankful to record with you.
Absolutely. Same here, my friend. And it was a great show. I enjoyed listening back and listening, and I did a lot of that episode. So thank you for carrying that show and carrying the reins. That was greatly appreciated for my vocal state. So nobody wanted to hear me talking like this the whole time.
That's right, buddy. That's it.
That in and of itself would have just been one giant Carabas. So
that's right.
But like we said, this is our final show of 2022. We're going to take the last week, 2 weeks of December off to spend time with our family for the holidays. My parents are coming to town. We've got Christmas, New Year's. It's just we've always said family first, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to be taking some couple weeks to spend time with our families at the holidays. But we wanted to get one last show in before we did. This is our 99th episode. And like I said in our opening, this is literally a state of the show. Show. How many times can I say show in 1 minute? Show. Anyway, state of the show. So basically, we just got a few things we want to talk about, just share with y'all, and we're just going to share some of our reactions to it, because 2022, like for a lot of people out there, has been a challenge for everybody. It was a challenge for us. We had out of the 52 weeks, we ended up releasing a total of 31 episodes throughout the year, which includes this episode we're recording now. 31 episodes in 2022. So, I mean, we've had our ups and downs throughout the year. I mean, we've had several unscheduled breaks due to illnesses, due to not one but two hurricanes visiting our home state of Florida. So we've had our issues. No pun intended. We've had our struggles, but overall, David, and I'm sure you would agree with me. I would say we've had a successful year in spite of everything.
Oh, definitely. That was part of the thing that, when you and I started recording together, And when we were on the Coffee with Kenobi Network, we did always talk about family first, and we have done that. There were times where, I had stuff I had to get done with my son or daughter. I have a 15-year-old daughter, 19-year-old son. Stuff when my wife needed me to help. But fortunately, my wife and my kids have been very supportive of this outlet, and they know I love talking the wars with you. And when I think about it, I'm really glad you added it up that we've done 31 out of 52, and it's not always easy. There's a lot of nights when there's just stuff that has to get done. And again, you and I have held to it, and that's why I love recording with you, because there's times when I'm ready to record and you're like, hey, either you're not 100%, or one of your kids or your wife, or on my end, you're ready to record and I've got something going on, but you're like, no, Dave, take care of your wife, take care of your kids, stuff at your house, cars, all that. And so, yeah, we do that. And so, yes, I'm with you, brother. I think really successful to get that many episodes out, and be husbands and dads and work full time.
Absolutely. Yeah, it has been. And, it, to me, of course, I said all that because I just wanted to get that part out of the way, because of everything we were going to talk about, that sounded pretty much the most negative. We've only done 31 episodes. We've had a lot of unscheduled breaks. It sounds like a rough year, but we've had a lot of wins this year. I feel are wins for us, and for the show, and for our listeners as well, because we did get 31 shows on. We got some great shows out there, and we know y'all have enjoyed it, because we've gotten awesome feedback on some of our new series as we started this year with the vintage reactions and the reactions chats, and of course the continuation of our random chatter series that we do sporadically throughout the year. So we've gotten some great feedback on those episodes, and are looking forward to doing more of those next year, between Bad Batch and Ahsoka and Mando 3, season 3. So, I mean, we got a lot of great stuff coming out next year that we're going to be able to review, but we'll still be able to do those specials every once in a while as well. So really looking forward to that. And of course, what did you think of those episodes, David? We had fun doing those.
Oh gosh, yeah, the vintage reactions, the reactions chat. Like I said, I really, really like getting different people in fandom on. Over time, we've had Mark Newbold from Fantha Tracks, and we've had, of course, Jay Krebs recently. We've had Dan Zare, and I want to keep growing that and have more and more of those reaction chat episodes. I love just doing a random chatter with you. We'll throw that in periodically, and we just kind of hit anything that comes to mind versus, having a laid out structure to it. So I've really enjoyed that we have those different kind of episodes. I've really enjoyed them.
Absolutely. So have I. It adds a little spice to life. And for me, I think out of those, I love like you mentioned the reaction chats. I love those, just getting to talk to a random person about their fandom. But I've really enjoyed the vintage reactions, because I'm getting to watch Star Wars I've never seen before. Yeah. Because I've never seen the Ewok series, the Droid series, any of those. So these are, as we're reviewing each episode, I'm watching each one for the very first time. So it's like sitting down and watching a new episode of The Bad Batch or The Mandalorian, because I've never seen it before. Mm-hmm. So it's new to me, even though it's, like 30 plus years old. So
That's right.
But it's fun. It's been great. Another thing, of course, with the shows, your psychology corner has grown a lot, David, and has gotten a lot of great feedback. So I just want to say a quick thank you for putting all the work into making us better psychologists.
Yeah, that's right. That is the goal, make our listeners better psychologists. And, I've mentioned this before in previous episodes, is I ran it by you, and we just kind of talked about it. Is it something we should do? Should we not do? And we thought, it would be something that's different. not only different than all the other Star Wars podcasts, but also something helpful to our listeners. And that's something that, our listeners know that. You and I care about them. We are caring people. We're loving people. And so I thought, let's do this. And so we've been doing it for a good period of time, and got another one to do at the end of this episode. So
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Always prepared.
That's right, buddy.
Excellent. Yeah. And I've loved them. They've been very helpful in everyday life. So they've been fun. And of course, we have had our fun stuff too. We introduced that very successful and comic relief way to end the show. No, I'm not talking about Carabas moments, which those are humorous at times. But I'm talking more along the lines of the dad joke of the week. The Star Wars themed dad joke of the week has been very successful as well. So we've had a lot of great things happen show-wise with each episode as the show's grown over the year through 2022. And it has been really, really fun. And then we've had a lot of success. We've had some wins and losses on social media. Facebook has not been helping us at all. They've pulled our page twice, and I've had to restart it twice. And this is my third restart on our Facebook page. And I'm hoping it will stick this time. But we're not getting any growth on it. So if you can help us, go follow us on Facebook, SW Reactions Pod on Facebook. Help us grow there. But we have seen some great growth across the board. We've seen new followers on Twitter. We've seen new followers on Pinterest and on Instagram. We've gotten a lot of growth there. A lot of people joining in. And I think a lot of that had to do with our trading card Tuesdays that we did, which was a massive success. We got lost halfway through the year with all the time off we had to take over the summer due to illnesses and stuff. But here's a hint of what's coming up later. It's coming back.
Nice.
So we'll get into that stuff later, but that was a huge success. And Instagram overall for a show, we've seen most growth on Instagram, and I love it. I'd love to see those numbers keep going up and see more people joining into the party. So
yeah,
man, we even got you on Instagram.
I know. There's so much more I can do with it. My kids were kind of showing me all the different things, and my head was reeling. And I just really got to sit down with my son and daughter and just have them really show me the ins and outs of it, so I can really do a better job on it and just have more fun with it and post more Star Wars stuff on it, And but that's something I can look to do in the new year, and it's been a fun little outlet. But there's Aaron, there's so many more people. There's so much more prolific than I am, and but I'll try. At least I got it, and I'm trying to be up on the socials. Right. It's so bad. But yeah, it's been fun. But I hope, like you said, buddy, people will jump on and, those different things on Facebook, on Instagram and Pinterest, and, Twitter, follow us, and your Twitter and my Twitter as well. And just have more fun with it.
Absolutely. So, and we'll have lots of fun. We always have fun. So, So now I want to go into some of we've, like I said, there's been a lot going on this year. We've had a lot of Star Wars content come out. We've had a lot of interviews. We've done a lot of shows, a lot of chats. It's been a blast this year. So I got to ask you, David, from everything that's come out in 2022, what is your favorite Star Wars moment from this past year?
Yeah, I think it's the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, and the reason why I say that is because just getting to see Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen again, that was really, really cool. And I also think Aaron, a part of it is seeing the reaction of fans at Star Wars Celebration when they came on stage, and the love that was shown towards them. And again, the effort they put into the prequels and then into that series. And I just thought it's such a feel good moment seeing them on stage with Deborah Chow and all the other actors. But then just seeing them back as Obi-Wan and Anakin, and of course, and then Vader. So just absolutely loved, everything around that. How about you, buddy?
Well, as big of as an Obi-Wan fan as I am, you would think that would be the biggest moment for me. And it's not. I love the show. I had a lot of fun reviewing the show. I had a lot of fun watching the show. But for me, the best Star Wars moment for me from 2022 is Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, I was guessing. I didn't know. You didn't tell me before we recorded. I was guessing you were going to say that.
Yeah, those 6 shorts touched me and moved me in more ways than anything else we got this year. I mean, the growth, the character growth, these were 2 fantastic characters we were looking at with Dooku and Ahsoka, and just, it felt. I love Kenobi and I love the show. I loved Andor. Andor was awesome in my opinion. I loved it. Book of Boba Fett at the beginning of the year, because it crossed over into this year, was a lot of fun. But for me, the Star Wars summer vacation show, that was fun. Mm-hmm. But for me, the thing I will walk away with the most out of this year is Tales of the Jedi, because it was just, to me, going back to the animation of Star Wars and getting those animated stories, it felt like coming home.
Yeah.
If y'all know my background, I came, when I got back into fandom, it was in the middle of the Clone Wars. So I watched the final seasons of the Clone Wars, and then of course Rebels is, there's to me nothing greater than Rebels. Then of course Resistance. I enjoyed Resistance, different piece of the pie, but it was still good. I enjoyed it. But animation has always had a special place in my heart, and that's where Tales of the Jedi fit in for me this year in 2022. So who knows what that'll be next year, because we're getting Ahsoka, we're getting Mando 3, we're getting Bad Batch season 2, so there'll be a lot to go through next year as well. But for 22, it's Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, I get that, because listen, I just was going to quickly comment. The when you and I separated those 6 episodes into the 3 Ahsoka, 3 Dooku episodes, we did that for a reason, because there was so much to cover in both of them, and you and I could have gone longer in our coverage of Ahsoka episodes and Dooku. They were so thought-provoking, discussion generating, and people, please go back and listen to our coverage and the things that I said. And it just, the depth of conversation created by those. I've heard some Star Wars fans say, yeah, it's great, it's fine, it's okay. But I'll tell you, if you really look at those and Dave Filoni's work, and listen to how Aaron and I talked about them, there's so much more that Aaron and we could have done, 2-3 shows on Ahsoka's and 2 to 3 shows on Dooku's, and still had, we would have just talked all of you out. But we have to have some constraints. But anyways, I wanted to throw that in, buddy.
No, absolutely. I'm glad you did, because that's what it's there for. We had a great, a great time reviewing those 6 episodes. They were fun to reminisce through, and they were fun to just enjoy. So yeah, we can't complain, and those were awesome times. So
that's right.
Absolutely. So with that being said, of course, looking at our show, at our podcast and everything, looking back at 2022, what has been your favorite moments, your favorite memories coming from the show this year?
Well, from our show, I think again, and people hear me say it, it's just one is just being able to talk Star Wars with you, and look, I was listening to a podcast, a Star Wars podcast on the way home, and one of the co-hosts says, look, he just loves talking Star Wars with his buddy. And he goes, if people listen or not, that's their prerogative. And, I feel the same way, whether a lot of people listen or not, it's just great to be able to talk. It's a great outlet for me. As a psychologist, Aaron, that, and our listeners do, I'm talking to people every day about, how to cope. How do you cope with the stresses and strains of this world? And there's a lot of bad ways to cope. There's a lot of good ways. Well, one of the ways that I cope is by recording. And so that's why I'm saying it's so enjoyable to talk about Star Wars, talk about it with you. And that just is a real highlight to be able to do that. This stuff wasn't, if you want to talk Star Wars, you'd have to talk to someone on the phone, text, etc. But now, we can do it through Skype and other means. And so, really enjoyed that. Kind of going back to, like I said, our coverage of these different series, covering Book of Boba Fett, covering Obi-Wan and covering Andor, just wrapped up doing that. I enjoy that. I enjoy the chat episodes, random chatter, like we said. And, we had some, I would say this, one of my favorite memories is just, from a week ago, and it's having Jay Krebs on. And, you and I tried, you in particular, there's certain things I try to do for the podcast, certain things you do. You get all the credit. You've been in contact with her, and we've been wanting her on for a long time, and she's been wanting to get on. She had us on, her podcast with Dennis Keithley called Podcast Stardust. And just that was a really, really a big highlight, buddy, for I feel like our podcast and for you and me, and just having her on. And she is someone who, like I said, some of my earliest memories of podcasting involve you getting Jay and I on to discuss Rebels. And so that was a highlight as well, and really recent, just from last week. So those are a few of my favorite memories. Toss it right back at you. What do you think, buddy?
I when I wrote that question out, I sat back and I literally was thinking, what? Because I've loved every moment of doing this show. I always have, and it's always been so much fun to sit down and just talk Star Wars with you, and with some of our guests we've had on. It's been a blast. If I had to pick out, having to pick out just some favorite memories, like you said, last week with Jay was right up there at the top. When we had the chat with our buddy Jason.
Oh yes.
Because the three of us go way back. That was fun too. But then some of our other episodes, like when we did our Rebels Remembered episode this year, and our profile, we did the profile series too that we've been doing, and we did Callus. That was a fun episode. I really enjoyed that episode. It's just things like that have been really, it's so hard to pick just one, which is why I said memories when I wrote the notes, because I initially wrote memory, and I'm like, I can't pick one. I can't expect David just to pick one.
Yeah.
So but there's so many good times. Each one is just so. Each one just puts a smile on my face. even last week when I couldn't really do much with the conversation with Jay, and because I was out there talking like this, yeah, I still had a blast just sitting there and listening to the two of you engage and talk. And I did pipe in every once in a while, but it was a lot of fun. I love doing those type of things.
Yeah, well said, buddy.
So, all right. Well, is there anything else from 2022 you want to discuss, David, or mention or bring up?
No, I think that's kind of doing it, and hitting on some of the big. There's so many more things to cover. I mean, we could talk about books and High Republic and oh my gosh, there's so much. But we've hit on a lot of that. But I think we did pretty good for 2022. There's way more to cover, but I think I feel pretty good about it. How about you?
I do too. I think so. I feel good about it. I'm glad we've hit all the points I had, and I'm sure there's plenty more we could discuss, but we don't want to make it too long of an episode for y'all today. So, but what we're going to do, since we're wrapping up 2022, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to let you know what to expect from 2023. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Aaron and David here. It's our State of the Show. I got to find a better way to say that, David.
I like it. State of the Show.
Anywho, before the break, you heard everything that happened in 2022. Highlighted some of our struggles, a lot of our successes, what we feel is our success, because we love doing this. So, but now we want to tell you what to expect from 2023. It is right around the corner, and I tell you, I am excited for the new year, David. How about you, buddy?
Yeah, I really am. Kind of looking forward to a new year. I can't believe the amount of content that we got Star Wars wise this year. You've been mentioning it, here in the first half of the show about all the series that are coming out, and I really am looking forward to, the Star Wars shows that are going to be streaming coming up. So I'm excited about it. I'm excited to record with you, and excited for a lot of things. And I guess I'm holding back. You put together an awesome list, and so I'm gonna bop it back to you. And well, what do you think? You looking forward to it, buddy?
I am stoked for 23. It's going to be a great year. I'm looking at everything as I was pulling things together for next year over the last several weeks, and over the last month. I've been trying to put stuff together of what I think we should be doing next year and presenting it to David. And I think we're going to have a blast. I can tell you that. I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully you enjoy it as much as we do. Because we're going to have a lot of great content. We got Bad Batch, Mandalorian 3, Ahsoka is supposed to be coming out, and who knows what else at this point.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of great stuff coming out next year. So we're going to have a lot of stuff to talk about. And in between times and down times, be on the lookout for vintage reactions, more reaction chats, the profile series, random chatters. All those will be thrown in the mix as well. So we're going to have a lot of great shows coming out. So be on the lookout for those. Like I said, we're going to be out for a couple weeks. So our first show in 2023 will be the review of the Bad Batch. The first 2 episodes drop the 4th of January. So our first episode will be just a couple days after that, and it will be those episodes. I'm really looking forward to that, and we're not going to issue any spoilers yet, but we do have a guest lined up to join us for that review as well.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a blast. It's going to be fun. So be on the lookout for that coming out.
Well, and it'll be our 100th episode. So
exactly.
It's going to be fun, and I'm excited about that milestone and the special guests that we have coming on, and hopefully that'll pan out and work well. And we're going to try to kick it off with a bang with literally with the Bad Batch season 2 and that special guest in our 100th episode.
Yes, exactly right. 100 episodes. That'll be, our first episode of 2023 will be our 100th episode. That is just, that in and of itself is incredible. It's a huge milestone for us. So I'm really looking forward to that. And what a way to kick it off than with going back to our roots and reviewing Bad Batch.
That's right.
So it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. So that's coming. Also, of course, there in January is the return of this. We all, David and I live in Central Florida, and we have been going the last 4 years to Central Florida Comic-Con, and it is back again this coming January 21st and 22nd. We'll be right back there having a blast. Timothy Zahn is going to be there, which is huge for me. That's Zahn is one of my favorite authors when it comes to Star Wars writing. So he is going to be there. He's the creator. Of course, if you don't recognize the name, he wrote the Thrawn books. He is the man responsible for creating Grand Admiral Thrawn. So he's royalty.
Yes.
He is Star Wars royalty. So I'm looking forward to, I have seen him from a distance that's the celebration we were at, but I am really looking forward to meeting with him and talking to him and getting to hear what he has to say at the convention.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to be there, back there with you. You and I really kind of call that our hometown con, and I've had so much fun there before with you. We got to meet Phil Lamar there, the voice of Bail Organa and Kit Fisto, and that was so cool to meet him and to meet Zahn. I actually had him sign a poster, I think at the 2017 celebration that you and I were at. There was no more books left, but he was still there kind of just trying to give some stuff to people, and he'd signed a poster and of the Thrawn book when
Really?
Thrawn returned. Yeah. And so, but I really, I'm looking over again at Thrawn Alliances and Thrawn, what was the third one? Let me look at it right now. I don't want to mess it up. It's blocked by another book. Thrawn Treason, that trilogy, and so I definitely want to bring some books, see what I can get signed, and just get, maybe, gosh, I'd love to just get a picture with him too, man.
Mm-hmm. So, absolutely. You know what I'm bringing to get signed?
What?
The very first, it's the very first Star Wars book I ever read was Heir to the Empire.
Oh, and you got it. You still
I
have
still have it.
Nice.
I found it on, and the best part is I didn't buy it here in the USA.
Yeah.
I bought it overseas because I didn't even know they had writing Star Wars books. And for those of you that don't know my background or don't remember or haven't been around enough to hear it, my parents were missionaries. I grew up in South America. So I really didn't have access to much of anything. I got random star logs if they showed up on the shelf. But I remember being at the grocery store that day, and Mom and Dad were checking out, and I was just hanging out over by the books, waiting for them to check out. And there on the top shelf, Star Wars, Heir to the Empire by Timothy Zahn. I went, really? So I begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded and begged and pleaded, and they didn't get it for me. They got it for me a week later. It was an English book in a Spanish speaking country. Why it was sitting up there, I will never know. It was like a godsend or something, because I got it. I still have it. It is sitting right here on my shelf. I read it, loved it, then found out it was first book in a trilogy. Called my grandmother, and she fished around and got the other two books and sent them to me. And I got all three of them sitting right here. They're paperbacks, not hardbacks, but they've been used.
That's cool, man. And I want to be there to see him sign it, man.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have a blast there. I'm looking forward to that. So, all right, what else to expect from 2023? So, now the next piece that I'm going to talk about real quick, it's going to sound a little bit downer. It's not it's not great news, but it's news. We are going to end up dumping our website, StarWarsReactions.com. We are going to get rid of the website. We just aren't getting the traffic that we need to keep it up. And it is literally all coming out of my pocket right now. And it's just to the point where, you sit down, you weigh the pros and cons, and the cons are outweighing the pros. And for what little traffic we get, it's just not worth the effort at that point. So starting in 2023, it will be gone. But so, yeah, it's not much else I could say about that. It will be gone, but I am looking for another set. That's where we would house our show notes. So I am currently searching, and David knows I am. We're looking for almost like a free blogging site that we can use and kind of decorate somewhat to suit our needs, so we can get our show notes out there with the links and everything that y'all can click to get to some of the people we talk about and everything. So be on the lookout for that. That'll be coming out sometime in 20. I don't have it lined up yet. I'm still trying to find the best one to fit our needs. So if you got any recommendations, hit me up. Let me know. I'll take as much feedback and input as I can get for recommendations there. But that's going away. But you will still be able to find us on all of our social media. So Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, we're all there. Still check us out there. Follow us. Don't follow us on one, follow us on all. And we would appreciate that. And because of that, we're also relaunching a new social media campaign starting January 1st of 2023. It's very similar to the previous one that we were doing, but we've tweaked it a little bit, made some changes to what to expect in this season here. So, I mean, like I mentioned earlier, we will still be having our trading card Tuesdays. It will still be on Tuesday. But we're also going to be starting with Mondays. We're going to be doing concept art from shows, from movies, sharing some of that with y'all. We're going to be looking at, of course, Tuesday, Trading Card Tuesday, as always. Wednesday will still be Who's Who Wednesday, where we focus on a character from the saga. Then, of course, Friday is the featured episode Friday. This is something new. It was basically where we're going to take a show from an episode from one of the shows out there, whether it's Clone Wars, Rebels, Resistance, Ewoks, Droids, whatever. And we're going to focus on one episode, go through it for the day. And we will be posting some photos and stuff from the show about that. And the best part is we're going to tie it in with Concept Art Monday. So if you check out Concept Art Monday, you'll know what is coming on Friday. Nice. So it's going to be nice to have those intertwined together and work together there. And of course, Ships of the Saga we're still going to be doing as well. So it's going to be overall just a fantastic time. I already got everything set up to begin on January 1st. So it's going to be great. And we want it to be, and David, and I know you agree with this, and it was something that we did last year with it. We want to make it as fun and inspiring as can be. We start each day with the daily inspirational quote, and we're going to keep doing that. That's not changing. We're going to 8:00 every morning. We're going to have that first post between either 7:30 or 8. We're going to have that first post, basically just something to inspire you for the day. But then to top it off too, at noon, we're also going to be posting the JAT 365 by James Arnold Taylor video for you to watch at noon on your lunch break, to just pick you up and inspire you some more throughout the day. Because our goal is to sit here, talk Star Wars, and have fun, but we also want to inspire you to be better than to improve the world around you. And the best way to do that is to inspire you to be better and improve. Not saying that y'all aren't awesome. Y'all are always awesome, and have been fabulous. But even David and I need that inspiration, that motivation to step out and step forward and step up. If you're not moving forward, you're what? You're dead. I mean, it's as simple as that. So we want you to stay inspired. We want you to stay motivated. We want you to stay moving forward day in and day out, and improve not only your lives, your family's lives, but improve the world around you. And that's why we're going to be doing that. And we hope that it will inspire you throughout of 2023. Any thoughts on that, David?
Oh, no, I just ditto what you said. We can, we talked about this, it's, it's one thing to just talk about Star Wars, and Aaron and I can do that till the cows come home. That's easy. But like he said, we want to be inspiring as well. And that's part of, you think about the Psychology Corner and trying to help people to be better psychologists, to be better people. And then just like, how Aaron ends it with Star Wars Dad Joke of the Week, just to kind of laugh and to be uplifting. So again, fun and inspiring are the two words. And hopefully we can do that in addition to just, hopefully you enjoy hearing us, talk about Star Wars.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is. So, yeah. So, there's going to be more throughout the year that we're going to have going on. We may get more ideas as the year goes on, and we'll implement those. There's so many things we just don't know yet, and we haven't figured out yet. But I can honestly say I feel the best is yet to come in 2023.
Yeah, I agree, buddy. We're going to do even better than this year.
Absolutely, it's going to be a blast. I can promise you that. So. All right. So with that really wraps up our State of the Show report for you today. 2022 was great. 2023 will be awesome. And there's so much we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think of how we did in 2022. Let us know what you think of our plans for 2023 as well. You can let us know on any of our social media. We're on Facebook and Twitter. At SW Reactions Pod. We're on Instagram and Pinterest at SW Reactions. And of course, you can always email us. Our email's not going anywhere. swreactions@gmail.com.
Nice.
Perfect. So with that, we're going to take one more quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to have our Psychology Corner. We're going to wrap the show up, and of course, Dad Joke of the Week. How can we end a show without that? So hang on. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Aaron and David here. We've gone over 2022. We've gone over 2023, what to expect. So now, David, it's time for an all-new Psychology Corner. What you got for us this week, my friend?
Well, hey, we just talked about how, you said it and I said it. We want to be fun and inspiring. So, part of that is making our clients good psychologists, our listeners, our clients, our listeners. So here's an all new Psychology Corner. And, last episode, we had that chat with Jay Krebs, and I usually don't do a Psychology Corner at the end of those chats. So I'm picking back up here with my coverage of cognitive distortions. So 2 episodes ago, in episode 97, I went over jumping to conclusions and magnification and minimization, right? I've been doing 2 cognitive distortions, describing them, and then talking about how to address them. So please go back and listen to those. if you want, and hopefully learn, and of course, like we said, become a better psychologist. So in this episode, I'll cover two more cognitive distortions. One is called emotional reasoning, and the other one is called shoulding. All right. Now, let's go over each one. You know that you're caught in emotional reasoning when you're making decisions and arguments based on how you feel rather than objective reality. All right. So, something to keep in mind is that if you let this cognitive distortion run wild, you can become blind to the difference between feelings and facts. Okay. So, that's why we want to, address this. So, how do we do that? To address this particular cognitive distortion, you want to keep an eye out for your thoughts that include this statement in there. I feel, dot, 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 particularly when it ends with a negative conclusion. Okay. So instead of I feel, and, that can be emotion based, right? Instead of fact based. So ask yourself if the conclusion is accurate. When emotions are hot, I just want to let people know it isn't easy to challenge our thoughts. It's not. I just want to encourage you all to be patient with yourself as you learn to challenge thoughts like that so that you're not blinded by emotions, but you're actually seeing things factually as well. So, again, it's hard to learn to challenge our thoughts when emotions are running high. So just please be patient with yourself. But again, that is emotional reasoning. Okay, and a little way on how to address that. Again, a common theme in everything that I've been talking about in these previous episodes is I just want our listeners to know a big part is challenging our own thoughts. Okay, so keep that in mind. Even here when I cover the next cognitive distortion. Now, you're dealing with this cognitive distortion, shoulding, when you find yourself in quote unquote must or quote unquote can't thinking, right? I must do this. I can't do this. Shoulding, when we're doing these kind of thoughts, is really us focusing on what you can't control, right? Let me give you some examples so you really understand this. One would be is if you try to enlighten another person's thinking, or you're going to change their mind, right? And you're telling yourself, well, they should get it. You can't control how other people think. Just a sidebar, and these aren't in the notes, but over the last, 2020, 2021, and 2022, these last 3 years, a lot of people have really tried to control something. What they can't control is how other people think, and it's caused a lot of frustration in people. So just want to mention that. Another thing to keep in mind is that concentrating on what you think should or ought to be rather than the actual situation you're faced with will simply stress you out. So just like I mentioned with trying to change people's thinking, having the situation should be this way, right? These people should be this way. That just stresses people out. And so this is why we're covering it. Keep in mind this as well. What you choose to do can change things for the better. What you should do when you're thinking about that'll just make you miserable. So I really wanted to convey this to our listeners that here's where shoulding takes us, right? I don't have it in the show notes, but I go back to this, and maybe Aaron heard it from his parents, but my mom and dad were very psychologically minded, and something that my dad would always say is if he heard me or my brother or sister say this, he'd be like, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda, coulda, right? It's not just shoulding, but the coulda and the woulda, all three of those can make you pretty miserable. All right. So, okay, so just to wrap this up, and how do we address this cognitive distortion? One of the questions you can ask yourself is, what would happen if I did do, not I should do this, what would happen if you did do that? Whatever it is, something to think about. Also ask yourself, and this is pretty critical, and I've talked about this for 30 years with clients, ask yourself, quote, what rule or law says I should, or whatever, right? Unquote. Think about it. Is this chiseled in stone up up in Washington, D.C. someplace? Is this written in some textbook? Is this, in our Constitution? Is this, on our, no. There is no rule or law that says, well, you should do this. But we create these rules and laws, okay? And so just keep that in mind and ask yourself, when you're doing the shoulda, woulda, coulda, ask what rule or law says I should or shoulda or coulda or woulda. Well, it's a rule or law you create and it ends up making you miserable. Also ask yourself, could I just prefer something instead? Instead of I should do that, well, I'd prefer that. It's a little play on words, but I really like that. Instead of using the word should, put the word I prefer. Could I just prefer blank, blank, blank instead? All right. Now, in our next episode, I'll cover the last 2 of the 10 cognitive distortions. I've covered 8 now. The last 2 are called labeling and mislabeling, and the other one is called personalization and blame. All right. So we'll cover those in the next episode, and I look forward to doing that for our listeners.
Very good. Very good. And of course, if somebody has any questions about your Psychology Corner, David, how would they go about getting those to you?
Absolutely. 2 places. One is Twitter at David_Modders, Modders. There is an S at the end. And the other one is, you heard Aaron mention it earlier, is on Instagram. Just look my name up and there I am.
Excellent. Excellent. And of course, if you do want to talk Star Wars with me, the best way to do that is Twitter at TA Harris 121079. That's the best way to get a hold of me there. So check it out. With that, David.
Oh boy.
You know what time it is?
Everybody get ready. I've been trying to get ready.
It's Star Wars That Joke of the Week time. And we got a good one for you today. All right, here we go. Why was the droid angry?
As always, I don't know, so I will ask, why was the droid angry?
Because people kept pushing his buttons.
Oh. That's only bad but good, and groaner but not a groaner. That's pretty good.
There you go, folks. There you go. And David did not know I was going to do this next part because it's not in the show notes. But I figured since it's our last show of 2022, I wanted to just leave you with a note of inspiration for the new year. As you end this 22 and go into 23. And ironically, David, this ties right into your Psychology Corner. It was not planned. It just, it's one of those things that happens. So whenever, and here's, I don't know who said this or anything, but it's just a quote I wanted to leave y'all with as we end the show. It says, when you can't control what is happening, take control of the way you respond to what is happening, for that is where your power lies. So as you wrap up 22 and as you go into 23, make it a goal to control how you respond to the negative that happens around you. And when you respond better to the negative around you, the future will be brighter. Not just for you, but for those around you. So with that, David, my friend, it's been a wild 22. I'm so happy I've gotten to sit behind the mic with you for another year.
Oh, me too, buddy. And I want to say this. If anybody notices Aaron's Twitter handle, TA Harris 121079, that's his birthday. So his birthday is on December 10th. 2 days from now, the day we're recording. So everyone jump on all the social medias and wish my co-host a happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you. Of course, by the time they hear this, my birthday will be a week behind them, but it'll be okay. I'll still take it.
Still, wish him a happy birthday.
Carabas. So, but we appreciate each and every one of y'all. Y'all are awesome. We can't tell you how much we appreciate y'all sticking with us. This past year, 2022, has been a wild year, but it's coming to a close, and I feel the future is bright, not only for us, not only for the show, but for each and every one of you as well. So stay positive, be kind. We love y'all. We're praying for y'all. Have a safe and happy New Year. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate. May it be happy, joyful, and remember, this is your place for elegant discussion for a more civilized age.
If you'd like to share your thoughts, you can email us at show@starwarsreactions.com for our show notes and the latest news from the Star Wars universe. Visit our website at www.starwarsreactions.com. You can also follow us on Twitter at SWReactionsPod or on Facebook at Star Wars Reactions. If you enjoy our show, please leave a review on iTunes. This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or by Lucasfilm Limited. It's intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars. All names, sounds, and any other Star Wars related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and the respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Star Wars Reactions unless otherwise indicated. Star Wars Reactions. Elegant discussion for a more civilized age.